Welcome to this new series. You might know me from my AA Agatha series. This time around we'll be playing Middle Ages and I pick Pangaea. We're playing 8 players on Hexaware, which is the map I had to download, and it's pretty big, and I think it's in fact too big for 8 players. In the description said 11 to 15 players, and we're just 8, so empires will be stretched a bit thin. The Pretender, if you remember correctly, was just a Water 9 Blessing dormant with some scales. Notice all 3 go 3 and a magic 1. First, let's talk about Pangaea and why I picked them. So obviously I wanted to play Agatha, but that was already picked before I got into the game, so I couldn't do that, and I hadn't played Middle Ages at all. Like not a single game before I joined this game, and I spent a whole weekend, like literally 20 hours, just trying out the various MA nations, or at least this start. Again, Agatha would have been my first pick, but that was taken. Next I checked out Varnheim, because they have Earth access as well, but couldn't really get over their research thing. With the capital dwarf, he's capital only and slow to recruit, and then you have to recruit like research 7 guys in your forts for 140 gold apiece. So didn't really like that, but really enjoyed their expansion. Like, if I'm pretty sure you can fairly easily get to 1 expansion party a turn with Varnheim. But yeah, couldn't get over the research, so I didn't do that. Next I checked out Bannerlog to challenge me a bit, because they are very, very much Astral focused, but I hadn't played with Astral before, so that was the draw there. But I couldn't get over their horrible expansion, because I really wanted to take slot 3, which is fine after like turn 5, but for the first few turns it's horrible because you can't get elephants up, and the Tiger Riders are nice, but they aren't exactly amazing, I think, so yeah. Then I checked out another nation that could get Earth access, and that was Pangaea, and I stuck with them. And they have decent expansion as well, so that should be fine. As you can see, we have a huge nature gem income, and we're a very nature-focused nation. And I have no experience with nature at all. Like, I've never played a nation that uses it. And I've never had it used against me, at least very well, because I only played against the AI. So I'm curious to see what that can do. As for timing, we're starting this game on the same day that I recorded turn 31 of the Agatha game, so yeah. But let's look at what the nation brings to the table, Pangaea, in the Middle Ages. First off, we have a Harpy. This is just a generic scout, 25 gold, flying and stealthy 60, so already like the best scout in the game, or close to it. Recuperation, which doesn't matter, and forest survival, which also doesn't really matter. And map move 3, of course. Doesn't have any combat stats, you never want to fight with these, as you do with scouts. The best part, or the most important part of them, is that you can recruit them in any forest province. You don't need any building there, just you conquer a forest, you can recruit Harpies there. So I can really see myself building a pretty big spy network around my borders with them. Next up is the Satyr Commander. It's a generic commander with leadership 40 and +0 for 2 squads, so pretty shitty commander, but stealthy. Don't see myself recruiting these at any point in the game. but we'll talk about that later. Central Commander, Leadership 80, +1 morale for 3 squads. Not stealthy, but also -1 inspirational, so the +1. So they're really a 0. Yeah, not the greatest commander, and doesn't have amazing stats either, so you don't kind of want to fuck those. Minotaur Lord, so Trampler, size 3, which means you can't trample cavalry, which means you kind of don't want him, especially on a commander. Yeah, nothing more to say. We'll get to the interesting units. The Hierophantites. These will be our researchers, 120 gold for 7 research is like the best deal we get for cheap research, which isn't great, but they are priest level 1, so can bless everything, and they get either nature or water at 1, which I'm not sure what you can do with nature 1. I know you can cast Wine Arrows, which is a pretty decent spell, but other than that, I don't know. For the water, you get Frozen Heart at turn 60 or something with my bad research. Before that doesn't really do anything either. But yeah, they are inspirational +1 and have leadership of 40 and are stealthy. So we will happily use these as our commanders over the choices we've seen before. And they're sacred. Just, yeah. For fighting, not amazing. Short bow, fairly decent stats, but protection 3 is that doesn't really work that well. Next we have the Hierophant, that's the male counterpart to what we've just seen. They have a longbow instead of shortbow, costs 1 resource more, which is a pretty great upgrade. And they defend their random magic path. They also get nature at 50%, but they get Earth 1 at 50%. Earth 1 is useless, I can say from experience. So yeah, not amazing units either. But again, these can lead, these can build stuff, and they are researchers. And both of these can be built in any forest with a lab and a temple. You don't need a fortress to build them, which is great, because you can just... the Pangaea temples cost 200 gold each instead of 400, which is, in combination with these units, means you can take any woods, just put on temple and lab for 700 gold and then just start recruiting these guys. Which means my research will start slow, but should ramp up fairly quickly after that. But we'll see. The Dryad was not sure what they are used for. They are nature 1 and have 1 or 3 chance to go up to nature 2, which I'm guessing will do more than nature 1. And they gain water 1 and earth. Which, again, Earth 1 is useless. Water 1 can cast Frozen Heart, but I don't think anything good before that, and Frozen Heart is a long way off. But they are Priests 2, which isn't so great. And 9 research only for 185 gold, which is horrible. Sacred, or 3, which, well, you know, better than nothing. Stealthy 65, so super stealthy. Recuperation, as all my units have. And they have Seduction. And that's like the only reason you would ever want to build them. I haven't used them very much. I played 1 single player game, I mean like 30 turns of a single player game to get used to MA Pangaea, and I used these to middling effect. Seduction works, I don't know the exact mechanics, I need to look it up in the manual, but you can assassinate basically guys that are, yeah, when I say guys, I mean male commanders. You can assassinate them only if they are in a province that borders your province, which is a bit of a drawback, a huge drawback. And there are 3 possible outcomes. Either you can't seduce them, but they don't turn you in, and nothing happens, which is fine. You seduce them and take them in, which means the Dryad and the commander will return to the nearest province, or to a random neighboring province, and you just get the commander, like you he's under your control now, which is great. And the third one, she tries to seduce him, doesn't work, and he attacks her. And in that case, it works exactly like an assassination, which on Nature 1, not sure how great it is. I noticed that this bag full of acorns, or what it's called, that summons 3 Vinemen, is pretty useful in an assassination, and I'm sure once you get to Frozen Heart, that's much better. But I've lost quite a few of these to failed seduction attempts that turned into assassinations. They can kill all the researchers, but not all the beta casters. And these are super expensive, 158 gold. Not slow to recruit, so yeah, I'll probably build some of these at least for kicks and to try them out a bit more. Our big guy, the Pan, 305 gold, slow to recruit. But he has Earth 2 and Nature 3, and he has great randoms, either Earth or Nature, which means Earth 2 is already fairly decent. You can do stuff with that, but Earth 3 is amazing, and I know that from Agatha, and that's one of the reasons why I love Agatha, one of the many reasons. And he can get it, which is honestly why I chose this nation, straight up. He can also get to Nature 4. He's like half of them are Nature 4, half of them are Nature Earth 3. I don't know what I can do with Nature 4, but I imagine that having 4 in any one path of magic is a pretty powerful thing. And you can even super luck out and we'll go even higher with the 10% randoms. Of course, 10% randoms on slow to recruit guys. Not that likely to happen, but these are not capital only. They can be recruited in any fort with a temple and a lab. And I'll be doing quite a bit of that. They have Animal Ore, which I don't think will matter at all. Poisonous and Stealthy 40 for the Survivor Recuperation, which is always good on a commander. Not that these are old or anything. Well, I don't know where H is. H 111 of 375, so it's not like we need it for that. But if they get wounded and they survive, which is a pretty big if, they heal back up. Supply blows and Beastmaster too, which we won't need. So yeah, pretty great casters, and we will be seeing a lot of those. Pandemoniac, it's like a black Pan. He has Nature 3 and Blood 2, and he has a very low chance of getting to Blood 3 or Nature 4. And the other part stuff. But they don't have all. They are capital only, and a bit cheaper than the other part. I'm not exactly sure if I want to go for these, because I've very little experience with blood magic, and since these are the only hunters and they are mostly 2, like very rarely on 3, that means and they're somewhat expensive. That means I'm not sure I can really get good blood economy going, but I will probably try, just to try out new things for the future. So that's it for the commanders. We will be recruiting a lot of these Hierophantites for the water random, because that means they can side search for water, and these Hierophants, they get the earth random, which I will be side searching with a few pawns. They always do better than Earth 1, so really no reason to get the Hierophants over the Hierophantites. And at some point in the mid game I'll start spamming the Black Harpies to have very good information about my names. Don't think I'll ever recruit one of these 3, but maybe. So for the troops, Harpies. Super cheap, flying, stealthy, with horrible stats. Strength 8, attack 8, defense 8, 0 protection, 7 hit points. Like, they can take undefended provinces, but that's it. Like, I'm pretty sure they die even to province defense fairly quickly, so probably not going to buy any of those. Satyrs sneak. They are stealthy, like most troops are. Recuperation, all my troops have recuperation, and let's talk about that for almost all have recuperation. Let's talk about that for a minute. It means if a unit doesn't die, they usually get crippled fairly badly, various afflictions. So your armies just get weaker, and you don't really notice it. You just see, okay, I still have 50 guys left, but what you don't see is that like 10 of them have some sort of crippling affliction. And that doesn't happen with Pangaea, because everyone regenerates their wounds, which means it's much easier to get troops that have experience and are that much stronger for it. So good hidden booster. They are undisciplined, these sneaks, and they cause unrest 0.5. So for every sneak in the province, you get 0.5 unrest at a turn. So you don't want to keep those in your lands. They have mediocre combat stats. Attack 10 and defense 11 is fine, but low morale and very low protection. So I think the idea behind this is you take some sneaky commander, load them up with a lot of these guys, and just go through your opponent's lands and hide and just bring up their unrest that way. I'm not sure that is a great idea. So, and certainly I won't recruit any of those for expansion. First, we have the first of our satyr infantries, fairly cheap at 9 and 4 for okayish combat stats, same as similar what we've seen before. 10 attack, 11 defense, 6 protection, 30 magic resistance, which is great, and 9 morale. So decent line troop, if not for the low morale. And they are again undisciplined and have all the other stuff. And they have a javelin or 2 javelins, as it were. And yeah, they deal, and they have precision 10, so they can actually throw those javelins. Pretty decent all around, but not amazing. Same with another satyrs. They have a spear, and so do these. But these have a buckler, which is a crab shield, instead of the javelins, which are good. So they're more the line holders, and these the others you would recruit more for the javelins. Satyr Hoplite, which is crazy troop. They are not stealthy, and they cost a lot of resources, but they have pretty great stats. 14 defense, 16 protection. That's a pretty great frontline troop. They tank a lot, and they have formation fighter, and they get to morale 10, which isn't amazing, but better than what we have. So yeah, these are very strong but very resource intensive. And they're a bit slow. They have map move 2, and the others all have map move 3, so I see myself recruiting a lot of those in peace times, when I like to recruit fewer troops with higher resource cost to keep the upkeep down, because that is quite calculated by gold. So absolutely will be building a lot of those. Just you can't reinforce quickly with those at 23 resources each, and they move slow, so you only want to build them at your border forts, I think. And Revelers. Yeah, these are killer satyrs. They have a spear, and they have another attack with their hoofs. No shield though. They have fairly decent hit points and great morale. 12 is, for this nation is great. Good attack, good defense, and a few more hit points, just bad protection. But they are fairly cheap resource-wise, and not all that expensive on gold. They have stealthy, Berserk 3, which means they turn into killers once they are hit, and with 15 hit points they can survive a hit and go Berserk. And when they are Berserk, they just kill everything. Like they die to everything, but they also kill everything. which is a pretty cool idea, I think, for a troop. But they cause unrest as well, which means while we would love to expand with those, we won't do that because unrest reduction happens after income is calculated, and we don't want to tank the income of our capital city. So these troops are pretty great if you recruit them at a border fort or at a low income fort, and just put them on a stealthy commander, park them in enemy lands, like with the sneaks, except these actually do a lot of things in combat, and the sneaks do nothing that your other troops can't do better. These do things very well. Like these Berserk 3 on these stats is just kills things. We have also Minotaurs, which are again size 3 tramplers, which makes them useless to me. We also have War Minotaurs, which are a bit more expensive, have better protection, still 25 hit points, 7 defense, still size 3 tramplers. I'm not going to recruit those unless I can think of a really good reason. Centaurite. Actually, let's talk about these centaurs first. These are our archers, range 40 longbow. Pretty good, but very expensive for that. 25 gold, and yeah, they have high defense skill, but you don't want your archers in melee anyway, so what do I need? Hoof and a dagger. Yeah, if they get to melee, they get 2 attacks, but they are both at length 0, so seems like a pretty bad troop to me. It's not like we can buff our archers up anyway. We don't have the air for the aim thing. We don't have fire for flaming arrows. So I don't see myself recruiting these very much at all. These are basically the same, except they have shortbow instead of longbow and cost like one resource less and have nothing more HP or something. Wouldn't even dream of building them. Like these, I think the male centaurs are strictly better in this case. Like, can't think of a situation where I would want this. Next we have the warriors in male and female. They are very similar. The female centaurs have javelins. The male centaurs do a little better in melee. They have like a cap, or they have a shield. No, they have head armor. These are pretty good troops, but expensive, 35 gold, but decent stats. Protection 9 is fine, 22 hit points is great, 17 defense is amazing, of course, and 2 attacks in melee, including a length 4 one. Also, once again, stealthy and forest survival and recuperation, and they berserk again, which makes them just kill things. And again, movement 3, like most of our troops. I'll be recruiting quite a number of these for expansion. Not sure how well they do late game, probably not that well, but for expansion they are pretty great. Centaur cataphracts. These are just heavily armed centaurs at 19 protection, lose a bit of the defense and cost a lot more resources. I believe these are capital only, but I'm not 100% on that. Haven't used them very much. And our sacred, the white centaurs, 55 gold is pretty expensive, but they have 18 defense. That's really what stands out. So with our water blast, they go to basically unhittable for most troops. 23 hit points, 9 protection, so they can survive quite a bit. Good magic resist, decent morale. Not that great attack, but they have 2 attacks plus javelins. And they are again recuperation, stealthy and berserking, so these are great troops, great troops. We took our water blasts only for them. From the game I tried, these are great expansion. Won't scale that well into late, I think, but still worth recruiting, I'm sure, all throughout the game. So what do I want to do? Well, I want to expand with white centaurs, as many as I can afford, and I will spam I will fill up when I can recruit all the white centaurs, the holy pawns afford me. I will switch over to centaur warriors because they are great for expansion as well, and I will recruit a lot of these javelin satyrs. But the front line will be centaurs, which are tanky, berserking, murder machines, and some javelin support. With some javelin support behind them. And if these get into melee, that's not horrible. They can hold their own, and they're just not very good at it. So yeah, that's my basic plan. First order of business. Well, actually, let's just talk a bit about the game. This was another game that was here. This is a newbies game. There's 8 people in the game on this huge map, which again I think the map is too big, so we'll gain a lot of income. The other nations in the game, okay, so stats are not available, which means we can't even see the other nations. I didn't know that. But the other nations in the game are Agartha, Ashdod, Marignan, Nazca, Pythium, Tianchi, and Xibalba. Of those I know a bit of what Marignan does, and a bit of what Xibalba does, and that's it. So I'll have to make videos for those enemies again to see what their nations do. Okay, so finally let's get to turn 1. First order of business is finding the nearest forest. So these are forests, and this map is beautiful. Like, that's really well done. I can't see so well where the provinces end. Did I turn it off? Is that an option? No, it's not a great option. But yeah, it looks amazing. I really want to take this province. I guess it's just some mountain province, but it looks so great. I kind of want that. Okay, so there's a lot of caves. Man, I would have loved to play Agartha on a map with caves. So this one we want for the income, these we want for the forests. Don't need the forests immediately, of course, but yeah. Oh, that reminds me, the following, if I remember correctly, are forest recruitable. These needs to both kinds of satyrs, not the hoplites and not the revelers. Don't know about those, and at the very least these bad centaurs, and I think maybe, no, these I think are capital only as well. I'll just check on that very quickly. Centaur warrior. Pangaea. It doesn't look like it, so can even recruit those in forest provinces, which is great. It's a lot of water, and we don't have an underwater nation, so in the test game I played, I found myself with an excess of gold because I could expand very quickly with Pangaea. And the temples were very cheap. Oh, and the forts we built are palisades, so again very cheap. I'm not sure if that's an advantage or a disadvantage, because the other forts of course are better, but palisades come down faster and cost less gold. Pretty sure it's an advantage to have the worst forts, but not 100% on that. So I found myself with quite a few gold left over after turn 10 or so, which I would then invest into underwater troops, which I don't think, or Agartha probably has amphibian again, or has at least a few amphibian troops, so they can probably take to the waters, but I think the others are slaying the darkness. I start off very simply, build all the centaurs we can, all the white centaurs. Prophetize this guy because I will add the centaurs next turn, and so he can bless them. And let's check with the scout what we have here. I want to take this first for the gold, and then sweep through the forests, through one forest province, until I can go to one complete expansion party a turn from my capital, which isn't that far off, because those 6 centaurs and one of the Hierophants or Hierophantides is already fairly decent, and if you add some Centaur warriors, you're just good to go. Like if you have 10 total Centaurs, that's already an expansion party just in fully hard provinces. And that opens me up to once I have excess gold, to put down right next to my capital one of the lab temple combos and start recruiting more of the Hierophantides, which will be good for our research. Because the Hierophantides, like in the game I played, they did everything. Like I built my infrastructure with them, because they can obviously build palisades, but they can also build temples and labs. And they are my troop leaders, and they are my researchers, and they are my site searchers for water. So they do a lot, and I can't have enough of them. The rest of the gold I will put into one of these just for the resource spillover. The starting army of Pangaea is actually very good. You get some of both types of the satyrs, 15 of each, and that's a good army. Like I'm not sure you want to turn 1 expand with them. Maybe you want to, but I want to profitize them anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's a fairly strong army already. And that's it for round 1. Actually, let's see. There's a throne here. Probably should move pretty straight towards that and add some reinforcement from my capital to take it. It's an underwater throne, which will be hard. There's a throne here. Here. I would imagine that someone has spawned on this island though. Man, this map is beautiful. Yeah, I don't want to overdo it with the strategizing on turn 1. And I'll leave you with that and see you on turn 2.